Hello, ladies and gents. This is Mike Headley on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. This is a podcast designed for real estate professionals who's thinking about getting a career in real estate or who's already been in the business. We'll learn some great tips and tricks from the professionals and the veterans. Continue to tune in. Hey, ladies and gents, this is Mike Headley. We are back with another great episode of the Headley Group Real Estate Show. Now, y'all know how I do my intros. We got a brother today who specializes in industry. I think a lot of us who comes in the real estate business in the residential, and we dibble and dabble in the commercial sales, and I myself. But this brother actually practices in it. He's been in the real estate space as a commercial broker. 97% of his business is in commercial real estate. He's with Metropolis Real Estate Services, that's covering the Tennessee and Mississippi area, particularly the central Mississippi, as well as West Tennessee. Let's give a nice warm welcome to Mr. Todd Harris, commercial real estate broker. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Mr. Headley? How you doing?
Man, brother, let me tell you something, man. It's one thing about our show, we like to keep it honest and real. I met this brother back in 2010 in Charlotte,
North Carolina.
In Charlotte, and we was at a conference. Yeah. And actually, that was my first opportunity actually getting a hold of a contract. And me and the brother hit it off, and we've been pretty cool since then. And I've always admired the brother's knowledge when it comes to commercial space. Commercial real estate, particularly in the tenant aspect. Again, I'm a pup in that. I know he's very well versed in knowledge in that area. So, Mr. Todd, brother, how you been doing?
I've been doing well, Mike. How about you?
Oh man, brother, was considering this post-COVID, as they say, we are trying to keep the lights on.
I got you.
And relying on the man upstairs to give us direction.
Understood.
So, brother, now you and again, we got our questions. We do things particularly off the cuff, and we have like a basis where we kind of feed off of in terms of our questions.
Right.
Majority of people get in real estate. They say, hey, residential. What sparked you to say, I'm going to the big boy club? What made you say I want to get commercial?
I went commercial as a result of having closings on the residential side, not closed. I had several buyers that went out and did crazy things just before closing because now they have this great credit and they're able to get all these things, and they went and purchased things on their credit, not realizing it was going to mess up their debt to income ratios. Mm-hmm. And then when it happened, we got to closing, and all of a sudden, hey, you can't close because you bought a new car 2 weeks ago. Mm. What do you mean you can't close? Like you can't close because your debt to income is off now. Mm. A couple of transactions like that made me say, you know what? I'm still going to stay in real estate, but let me look at a different area of real estate, and that's what prompted me to go over into looking into commercial real estate. Honestly.
Mm. Gotcha. Because I always want to know what's that itch that had to be scratched in terms of going down that road. Now, we all know that the commercial space is way more complex, right? And then the residential sales, because you get a lot of brokers, including myself. When I was a up and green in the game, and I'm saying, well, office buildings, multifamily, I want to sell that. The real estate commission said I can sell it, which I legally can.
Right.
But to keep myself out of hot water, I need to be knowledgeable and connect with somebody who knows that in industry and space. Yeah. So, what would you say to a residential broker that says, hey, I want to tap into the commercial space? What kind of suggested advice would you give them?
The first thing I would say to them, and this is the advice that I was given by a broker of a company that I was interviewing with to become a broker in their company. He told me, be prepared not to make any money for 6 months to a year. Mm. And when he
elaborate.
He said, man, you have to be prepared not to make any money for 6 months to a year. And then he said, I know that sounds scary, but the reason you're not going to make any money between that 6 months to a year is because you have to build your brand. And people have to know and trust that you are in this field to stay. And if you talk with them, repeatedly and they constantly see you, at these particular events, these commercial networking events, your SIOR conferences, your CCIM conferences, your different conferences, if they see you and they see that you're serious.
Now, brother, I gotta interject.
Okay.
Now, and I don't mean to cut you off respectfully.
And they rare.
But and they rare.
Exactly.
But brother, what happens is you went out there and you threw a whole bunch of characters and letters out there.
Okay.
Our audience is we ain't as keen as you acknowledge. Break them designations and what them letters mean.
Okay, so the SIOR is an industrial designation that you would get from the Society of Industrial Real Estate Operators. So SIOR, there's like a designation that you would get if you're doing industrial real estate. And then your other one that I mentioned, CCIM, that's a Certified Commercial Investment Member. That's most people know commercial realtors by that CCIM designation. I'm currently a candidate. I've taken all the classes. All I have to do is just submit my portfolio and take the final exam, and then I'll be considered a CCIM. So that's what those, and you have other ones. You have CPM, Certified Property Manager. You have a gang of different certifications that you can get. But those are the ones that are highly respected in commercial, which is CCIM.
Brother, I'm glad you ended off with CCIM. And that's one thing about our show. Like I said, we got to keep it real. My experience with CCIM, right? Okay. I said, okay, well, section 101, 102, I went ahead and applied for it. Actually got the scholarship.
Okay.
Did it right in Charlotte. And didn't know how intense it was, brother.
It's real.
It's very intense, right? Particularly when you don't practice in that arena.
Exactly.
So went ahead, took the courses, passed 101. Okay. 101, 102 I failed on, right? Okay. And it was always on my to-do list to kind of go back, but again, things shift in business because I hate leaving things undone.
Okay.
But that CCIM is a beast. So I would tell anybody out there to if you decide to go that road, connect with somebody who's done it, or just connect with a commercial firm. Exactly. Don't try to do it on your own. I don't want to take your time, but what do you think about that? Somebody that said, let me do my CCIM, never practice in the business.
So the person that I connected with that inspired me to go ahead and get my CCIM is a member of NARAB, Brother Byron. I think his last name Long, Brother Byron Long. I think that's his name. He's also one of my fraternity brothers as well. Okay. And then him and F.A. Johnson. I don't know if you remember F.A., but F.A. and Byron made me realize that, hey, I can really do this commercial thing. And the reason I said I could do it is because I have a degree in real estate as well. I have a bachelor's degree in real estate.
Oh, so, brother, we got you. Hold on, brother. Let's give a round of applause on that, brother. Let's give a round of applause on that, brother. And the reason why I'm saying it, because my degree is in business management, and I know, some schools don't really offer real estate, right? As far as a degree, it's like, okay, let's go to real estate school. Well, I got to get a degree.
Yeah.
And we're going to shout that school out. What school did you go to school at?
University of Memphis, Fogelman College of Business and Economics. I got it.
Okay. And it had a real estate as a degree. Wow, that's interesting. I know they had masters, but I didn't know that there was actually undergrad degree in real estate.
Yeah, I got an undergrad degree in real estate.
There were definitely congratulations on that.
Coming from that perspective, I realized that the CCIM course, that is really a degree. Those 4 courses is really a college degree.
They are.
That you get, if you can knock it all out in 1 year, you literally can get a college degree in basically 1 year. That's everything that you learn in those CCIM courses is what you would learn in a 4-year institution in finance or in real estate. And that gave me kind of a leg up going into the commercial real estate aspect of it. Yes,
I mean, that is so interesting. Like I said, I think you're the first person I said, I know you're pretty much on the verge of actually getting designation, but you're the first on the show, but definitely salute on that.
No problem, bro.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're going to interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that.
So now, what is some of the misconceptions that that commercial real estate people may think in terms of, like you just mentioned a minute ago, people pay not to get paid for an extended period of time. And there is different arenas you can go to, far as my knowledge: industrial, multifamily, office. And I'm quite sure you can elaborate more. But what are some of the misconceptions in each arena, each area, or elaborate on that a little bit?
The first misconception is that you can do commercial real estate part-time.
Oh,
you can't do commercial real estate part-time.
Okay, hold on. So, brother, say it to the people in the back. Say it again.
You cannot do commercial real estate part-time.
Part-time.
If you're doing commercial real estate, you are in it 7 days a week. 8 hours a day. So you're definitely going to have to make a decision that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. No matter what, this is what I'm going to do. So you can't do commercial real estate part-time. And the reason being is because your colleagues will not respect you if you do commercial real estate part-time. You gotta, and as in any business, relationships drive the success of your business. And when you're not able to mend and connect and get those relationships to be concrete, then you won't be successful in this business. So a lot of the business that I do now, I literally can just make a phone call and get a deal done, negotiate it all over the phone, and then come back and put it in writing and get it over to the broker because of those relationships. I have had clients to come to me after they've tried to do the deal themselves and say, hey, I'm not getting any response from this person, or not, they're too difficult to deal with. Can you come into this transaction? And when I come into the transaction, I say, yeah, I give them a call. Call them standing right there. Hey, this is Todd Harris, yada yada yada. You've been talking to such. What do you want to? This is where we want to go with this transaction. Todd, you're involved in this transaction? Yeah. Okay. Give me a call when you leave from them. We'll get the deal worked out. It happens like that all the time.
So the reputation is very key, because with the network,
your reputation is key. If you tell another broker that you're bringing them an offer for $350,000, that offer needs to be for $351,000. It don't need, you need to go above and beyond what you say. Your word is bond, and when you're able to do that, when you're able to deliver a quality product, what in our business, a quality product is a contract. If you're able to deliver a quality product / contract, hey, like I said, you'll be able to do things that are just really almost unheard of. To be able to have that handshake, doing business, doing deals on handshakes and on golf courses and stuff. That's real, and you really get to see that when you're in commercial real estate.
Brother, you dropped some good ones on us. The thing is, and I want to touch on that. For example, the space where we're at now, the location here, which I own. When a standalone building, right, brother? So let me tell you what I did. This is me, my education, my over aggressiveness in terms of, hey, let me figure it out myself. So what I did was I went to YouTube before I took those whole TIs. Went to YouTube, looked at some looked at contracts, and I was always aware of. They said to do a LI letter of intent, LOI. Okay, prepare a letter of intent. So what I did was I prepared my letter of intent. Pretty much put all my terms together, shot it over to the broker, and he was gracious enough. Again, he practices consistently. He sent it back to me, said, Mike, take this out, add this, take this out. But he said, I like your intentions versus just slapping on all. He said, okay, but you got to fix some things. So he was willing to help, which I commend, because that helped get the deal going. Because I was representing myself as well as I was the broker.
Okay.
So what do you say to I say that to say, what do you say to a residential primary broker that says, hey, I want to sell that office building. Let me go ahead and move forward. You never did it before. Right. What advice suggestions would you give?
My advice to him is to refer it out.
Okay, look, let me say something to that. So what if they was to challenge that and says, well, I'm licensed through the state just like you, right? Instead of me getting 35, whatever that percentage commission is, I want to be able to get that 3%.
And my response would be to them, and I've given this response to several people. You refer it out, you're gonna avoid court.
Mm.
If this commission is worth your license, go
Mm.
ahead and do it. If you think that making this commission is worth your license, go ahead and do it. But if not, if I were you, I would refer it out and shadow the broker. I would refer it with the understanding I'm going to shadow the broker that's doing the transaction for you. And then that way you learn on the job. You still receive a fee. You don't receive a full commission, but you still receive a portion of the commission. But you get the value that you get is in the education and the knowledge of how that transaction should be handled. So
I love the response.
So like for instance, the first gas station I did, I referred it out.
Okay.
I said, hey, is this guy? That's all he sells. He's known for selling gas stations.
Okay.
I said, hey, I'm gonna refer this deal to you. Can I shadow you? He said, yes, you can shadow me. And instead of you getting, instead of you getting 25% of the transaction, I'm gonna go ahead and split it with you 50-50.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna split it with you 50-50 because you had enough. Again, because I know who you are.
Okay.
You're smart enough to know that this is more than what more than what you qualify for. And you brought it to me in the beginning. You didn't mess it up. You brought it to me.
Got you.
So I brought it to him in the beginning. Man, he closed the transaction. I learned a lot, and it's like, hey, that's one area that I probably would not be doing as far as transactionally on a daily basis is gas station. I just probably wouldn't do that. But multifamily, I'm at the point in my business now where if an apartment complex comes to me, which I know I can sell and have sold them before, I refer those out now. I got 2 people. I say, hey, these are the people that you need to talk to, and I'm gonna send it over to them. I don't. We've done so much business together. I know they're gonna send me a referral fee. I don't even worry about getting it in writing anymore with these guys because hey, we've been doing this so long that he knows that Todd is a restaurant guy. I can refer my clients to Todd for restaurants. You do multifamily. I'm gonna refer this client that's on this multifamily. I'm gonna send them to you, and that's how the business is gone. And that's how I really literally got got a good start in real estate is because people were referring things to me that they didn't want to handle. They was like, hey, he's aggressive. I'm gonna give it to him. And I've done warehouse, I've done restaurant, I've done multifamily. I mean, I've sold, leased, and a lot of stuff. But again, I was able to do that and realize that I have a gift for this particular area of real estate, landlord representation, tenant rep. I have a gift for that because I hear what they're saying and I can, convey that to an owner or to a landlord, and that that just makes it so much easier to do.
Wow, brother, something you said so much. We got to unpack a lot of that there. Because you actually beat me towards a question where I was going to ask you your area of expertise, which is restaurants, right? So
I do restaurants. And primarily on the, you'll see, I don't post a lot of my stuff. That's crazy. I just started posting, but I do a lot of restaurants. I do a lot of childcare, and then the rest of the stuff that you see, like you see me posting, 2-3 times a week. Those are small office complexes, like startup businesses that I kind of bring people in and show them the ropes and kind of build their portfolio and build their profile so that a landlord would accept them as a commercial tenant. So that's a lot of the time that I'm spending with individuals who have no clue about business in a formal sense. They just have a hustle that they're trying to convert to a business. And I kind of spend that time to kind of show them, hey, this is how you properly present yourself to a landlord in order for you to get a property. And man, it's taken me from a $30,000 a year business to a $250,000 a year business. So.
But brother, first of all, I got to salute you on that. And I don't know, I'm going to ask, particularly when you said something, they don't know the business, but they have a hustle, right? So you have to have both merged together in order to go from one level to the next. Correct. Is it our people, or is it a combination Is it majority of us or
it's people of color?
Okay, people of color
primarily. Go ahead.
And the reason why I say that is because first I salute you, because I just think that a lot of us do have the hustle, but when it comes down to the business, some of us may lack some of that. But you're able to take that leadership role and navigate them to the quote unquote promised land, which is a great thing, brother. So I salute you on that.
Yep. So I heard a story from a guy in Atlanta. I went to an Arab event in Atlanta, and this gentleman, he's like over CBRE commercial, a big commercial real estate firm in Atlanta. He was giving a talk, and he said his very first transaction was with a guy that leased a $700 a month office space. It was over 30 years ago. Since then, this gentleman has closed over $60 million of real estate with this guy. Wow. His first transaction with this guy was a $700 office complex, $700 office space. And, to go from that to $60 million of real estate. And I think at the time I was there, he was brokering a $300 and some odd $million office building acquisition for him at that time. So, you can really get into the money. Once you get your name out there and once you have an established pipeline, you can easily do, $3, $4, $5 million a year. I have my own accounts as well. So, although I may not transactionally do, $3 million a year, I'm still doing well.
Correct. Well, you beat me to them questions. So that's what I was going to elaborate next on. You last time I met you, I know you were working on the landlord-tenant space. As far as do you still specialize in that area?
I still do landlord-tenant. That's what I do. I mean, anything from an office to a warehouse, I got it.
Okay. So enlighten the viewers on. We see a shopping center on 123 Main Street, and we see which the anchor is as a Lowe's, then there's a Cleaners, then there's a beauty shop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
How does that give us the breakdown with that, right? In terms of how does the commercial broker make a buck off of if they're property managing this complex for an owner?
Okay, so if the owner, if I'm in the property management space, you're going to get a basic monthly commissions on all rents received. It's just like in residential. Okay. You'll receive a commission off all the rents that you receive. Okay. Now, the other aspect of that is when a space in commercial real estate, which is different from residential real estate, is that I can break a lease with a tenant with notice.
You said with notice?
With notice.
Okay.
I can give them 60 days, 90 days, whatever the lease specifies. I can give them 60, 90 days notice. And guess what? They're no longer a tenant of mine because I have a bigger fish in the pan.
Wow, so, really?
So, yes. So a lot of times you see turnover in centers is not because they are bad tenants. It's because they have a notice clause in there, and the landlord and property manager or leasing broker, myself, finds a bigger, better tenant that's willing to pay more money for that particular space. So I de-lease and release that space on a regular basis. Now, you're not gonna see that a lot in shopping centers. You will see it, don't get me wrong, but you're not gonna see it like you see it in mall tenancy. We're kind of going out of phasing out of the big box malls, the Simon properties and whatnot. But Simon would, when I did mall leasing, I would have somebody signed up on a 5-year lease, get a commission, and 9 months later, I'm kicking them out because I got a bigger, better tenant that's gonna pay more money for that space. Wow. And they've dumped all this money into this particular piece of property. And that's how the commercial business goes. But that tenant, if the tenant was smart, they had a good agent like myself, they negotiated some type of monies for them to move to a different location or something like that. So it's just not dog eat dog world, but there are some leases, New York in particular, where notice is given and it's that on that. That they're not giving you any money back. This is just how it works. California is one of those places as well. Florida is one of those places as well.
Is it because you named these cities? Actually, I just came up the other day from New York. Do you name these major cities because the demand is so high for that space? They can do that.
They can do it. They have people. They have people coming in with billion-dollar ideas every day, and they can de-lease and release a property like it's nothing. And it's really nothing that the tenant can do other than find a new location or have, hopefully they got a clause in there, a relocation clause where they can relocate to a different property. But yeah.
Wow, brother. Okay, let's throw some terminologies out there because I know that again, and enlighten the audience on. Give me a net lease, triple net lease, and give us the insight on that. What is the definition?
So a net lease or a triple net lease is pretty much a situation where a tenant is responsible for all of the operations of the property, to include property taxes, maintenance, insurance, as well as their own build out of the property. That's typically a triple net lease. So when you hear someone say a net lease or a net lease or whatever, the nets become certain things. The first net will be like property taxes. The second net will be like insurance. The third net will be like maintenance on the building. So when you hear triple net situations, that means that individual is paying a base rent and an amount above that base rent, so that they can maintain, so that the owner can maintain the property. You're going to find that that's very common in malls, it's very common in standalone retail, and it's very common in strip malls, where you pay a triple net or a net lease. That's very common.
And I know one thing, the great thing about commercial real estate is you can do a referral in California or New York and still get some great compensation off that.
Hey, when I left that conference we went to back in 2010, FA called me maybe a year or 2 years later, and I did the transaction in New York.
Wow.
Man, it was an international firm, brokerage firm. They were bringing some kind of commodities or something into the States. And man, I flew out there. It was an agent there that had the client, had control of the client, but really couldn't get the deal done. FA said, call him, call me. I flew out on my own dime, looked at the place. And when I tell people this story all the time, when I looked at the property, I was like, I called a lady and I was like, if I were them, I would jack the price up too. She was like, why? I said, it's across the street from the Madison Square Garden.
Oh, you on 34th Street. Wow.
It's across the street from the Madison Square Garden.
The most famous arena in the world.
That's what I told her. I said, so why are you arguing with these people about this property? She was like, what do you mean? I said, I can go to Timbuktu and I can say I come from the Madison Square Garden. They're going to know that I was in New York City.
That's right.
When I said that, she was like, I said, so you got to pay a premium. And if you keep on haggling with these people,
you're going to lose them.
They're going to lose the deal, or they're going to jack the price up so high.
Correct.
Your client's going to be upset with you. And that's what happened. They went up. Instead of going down on the price, they went up on the price. And I said, it's the demand. Every time they lease an office, that office becomes more valuable. And she was like, once I said it to her like that and took her and showed her where this property sits, she never got out. She never went to look and see what the property was.
Oh, wow.
Never went to see what the property was. I said, so it's across the street from Madison Square Garden. Let's do this deal. We did the deal. That lady to this day is so gracious for me, flying up there and doing that transaction for her. I think she made mid 5 figures on that one.
Wow. Brother, that's what I mean. You are packing so much great stuff for us here. Let me ask you something here. Do you recommend coaching, mentorship, training? Do you recommend that, or what's your take on that?
Yes, I'm actually in a coaching program now. I believe in coaching. I think I would have been a lot further along in my business had I known that coaches existed. I didn't really, with social media and everything, you become open up to a whole different world, a whole new world. And in doing so, I realized that, if I had coaching back when I was, in my 20s coming through this business, oh man, I'd probably be a billionaire by now.
Wow. What kind of coach you mind me asking?
It's a real estate coach,
Okay.
a commercial real estate coach. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick commercial break. If you're interested in a career in real estate or you're a seasoned vet and you might want to change, new environment, you don't like the atmosphere you're in, the Headley Group Realty could be there to assist you with your career. What do we offer? Great culture, great environment, leads, and an awesome commission structure. Let us be there to support your business. One thing, you got to be in the state of North Carolina. Let's get back to the show.
So this is a pivotal moment here during the conversation here. How long you been licensed now?
I first got licensed when I was 19, man. I'm 41 years old.
Okay, so you've been licensed almost 20 years.
Yep.
20 plus years, a seasoned commercial broker who's sold volume millions, possibly billions of dollars. And he says, I still have a coach.
Yeah,
I have a coach. So you're never too big or you never don't know it all. Whereas though I got it, I don't need anybody.
Right.
Salute you for that. Go ahead.
I hired to coach, man, in all honesty, because my systems were crap. In implementation of becoming systematic, man, that will make you so much money. Ooh. So I hired a coach because I knew that my systems needed to be improved upon. And then with the improvement of systems, it actually improves your service because you're not stuck doing the hourly work, that some administrator could do. And in doing that, that's why you see, and you like, Todd, man, I got to get you on, you killing it. And it's because I began to implement these systems, man. I'm in the street, connecting people rather than at the office typing up a contract now. I send it to my OA, and my OA is gonna send it to the field person who's gonna get it to the construction person, and we just got this thing, making it seamless. And doing that, man, coach. But I would have never known that had I not hired a coach, because coaches their job is to see the things that you're doing wrong and point it out. Say, hey, you can do this better. You need to improve upon this. So the coach is definitely worth their money.
Well, it's interesting you say that. And I love using basketball analogy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got the elite players. All of them got from the training, strength and conditioning. The coaches, they got about 20 coaches.
Exactly.
That's why they're at the top of their game. They see things that needs to be improved on.
Exactly.
Definitely salute you.
And then they got a financial coach when it's all said and done.
That's right. Business manager, everybody. So what would you say to somebody who says too many coaches out here, some of them rip off, some of them scams? How do I know to get the best? How do I know I'm getting the real deal?
The reality is, when you talk to agents in your market, brokers in your market, they're going to tell you the truth. If they coach with someone who's just fluff, they're going to tell you that. And in all honesty, the coaching platform itself will tell you if they're full of fluff. And what I mean by that is, if you see that they have a high turnover rate, that their clients are not staying with them, more than 1 year or 1 quarter, whatever their term is, it may it might be the client themselves, because hey, it's hard to get out of your own way, but you may have to begin looking at the coach. So I hired a coach whose reviews were on top. I looked at the top industry professionals and say, hey, they said go with this guy. They said go with this guy. And I just kind of dialed it down, and I got it to 3 people, and I talked to all 3, and of the 3, 1 made me commit to them, and that's because they had a diversity initiative.
I love that.
That was the reason why I chose the coach that I have, because he literally has a diversity initiative as a part of his coaching program, because he realizes that minorities are not really exposed to commercial real estate, and he makes it a staple of his business to involve minorities and grow them up so that they can be coaches on his platform.
Brother, let me tell you something. You keep beating me to these questions. Listen, man, I was about to literally come out and say, again, facts are the facts. We are highly underrepresented in this space. Again, I don't want to speak for you. I know you just spoke on that. And I think I read somewhere we made up about 3 to 5%
Yeah.
in the commercial space.
Yeah. If you look at the world, we're less than 1%. If you look at the commercial space internationally, we're less than 1% of the commercial brokers in the world.
Well, speaking on that, how does and again, your African American brother, and again, we like to keep it real on the show.
This was up.
Have you ran any challenges, particularly when they expected John Doe?
Of course.
Versus yourself.
Of course. I ran into challenges. You're gonna run into it early on. How did I overcome those challenges?
Exactly.
I just kept going. I just kept going. And what I did in keeping going, I began to get more educated on what I wanted to do, so that when I'm in the room and at the table with these individuals, they know that they're not talking to a slouch of an agent. I'm not a slouchy broker. So, when I come in or when I make a presentation to a broker, hey, we're going to have everything you need. Send me over the application. Once I get the application, I'm going to tell my people, hey, this is how we're going to put this package together to present to them. And we're going to present it to them, even if I have to put in the work myself. That's how we do it. And with that type of customer service and that type of respect for myself as a broker, I began to garner the respects of others.
So let me make sure I translate that. So my brain can take it all in. You said we are underrepresented, but at the same time, I'm not going to let that use it to be an excuse. What I will do is empower myself with as much knowledge as I can. So when I'm sitting across from whoever, they could say, wow, like he has it. He's our guy and his team, because you have the insight and intellect.
I do. I got one of my clients, man. He's a lawyer. He's a big lawyer here in Memphis. When I say big, I mean huge. Like when he walks in the room, they kind of like, man, what is he coming about now? We
better get the paper together. I got you.
So he and I can tell that he's genuine when I receive certain messages. He sent me a long email one day. And he said he's an owner. He's owned properties for 50 years. He's been an owner of a property for 50 years. He's like, in my 50 years of owning real estate and being in these transactions, you are by far the most professional real estate broker I've ever done. He said, I know that I do not have the best properties. He told me this. I know I don't have the best properties, but you represent my properties like they're A-class properties. And he said, you just don't know how much I respect you for that. And I thanked him. Wow. I thanked him, and he wrote me a big check. I was like, yay!
well, and I take it based off of that value that you've given. You probably got a ton of referrals from him as well.
Of course, yeah. I mean, to put it this way, a lot of the transactions that you see me post are this gentleman owns 300 doors in the city of Memphis. 300 doors, and these are commercial properties.
Oh wow!
I'm not adding in the residential stuff. Between him and his brother, he has a brother. Between him and his brother, they own probably 3,000 or 4,000 doors in the city of Memphis, Tennessee.
Basically, own Memphis, huh?
Man,
quietly.
There's some guys out here that own 9,000 and 10,000 doors, quiet as a keeper.
Gotcha.
So, but with that being said, he's at the point in his business where he's taking stuff that he has from the bigger brokers, the CBREs, the advisors, and things of that nature. And he's seeing that I'm becoming more systematic in how I operate my business. And he's starting to award me with that business. Here you go. It's to the point where someone can call the office inquiring about a property. He used to do the leases himself. He just sent them over to me now. He's like, I'm not touching it anymore. I'm sending it to Todd. Todd he's gonna make, if there's a commission to be made off my properties, he's going to make it.
Todd, brother, let me tell you something. And really, and I say this with all honesty, had a lot of great guests on the show. This by far is like one of my top three in terms of the knowledge that you're giving. Because again, I'm sitting here listening, taking it in. I have some infant knowledge, but again, you at the graduate stage, brother. And that's why we will talk offline as well.
Okay.
You're giving some brothers some great jewels. Now, as we do, brother, every time we have somebody on the guest, we ask for 2 golden nuggets. It is for 2 golden nuggets to our community where they can benefit greatly from, whether that be a scripture, a quote, a book, or something that just comes from you.
The first golden nugget is for you to believe that you are worthy. If you don't believe that you're worthy of whatever it is, you're exactly that. You're not worthy. So when you walk into a room and you're the person that's in that room, you're there for a reason. And that reason, your name, the Bible says your name is being spoken of in rooms that you have not entered. And that's the reality. So when you walk into a particular room, use that as an opportunity to not be boisterous. Listen. And once you understand and receive what the message is, if you have anything to interject, because oftentimes you are the only representative of our community at that table. And you got to know what you're doing once you sit at that table. That's the first nugget. The second nugget that I would give is look for opportunities to build equity in your transactions as opposed to just being a broker, if that makes sense. And I'm going to explain. Please. As a real estate broker, you are a transactional broker. You sell homes, foreclosures, yada, yada, yada. Don't get caught up in just selling real estate. How do you become an investor? How do you become a builder? How do you become a lender? How do you become a developer? Those are the questions that you have to begin to ask yourself so that you don't plateau, so that you don't get to a part where I'm just coasting along. You got to get to a point where you want more and do more. And these are the questions you have to ask yourself. So I always ask myself, after I complete a goal, what's next? So you should put that on your wall. What's next? Wake up and look in the morning. What's next? What's next? What's next? So I'm a transactional broker. That's what I do. I do a lot of transactions. My goal is to start building. My next goal after that is to do a large scale mixed use development, and that's where my mind is going, and that's what I'm looking at. So I began to look at, construction plans and understand how construction plans work on a small scale. It's a microcosm, and then I'm gonna build up from there. So what's next? So what's next? 1, believe that you're worthy, and 2, ask yourself all times, what's next?
Brother, let me tell you something. You definitely enlightened us today. I mean, like I said, this is one of the top interviews that again, I'm just a student here listening to you, taking down notes as well. We want to thank Mr. Todd Harris with Metropolis Real Estate Services in the Memphis as well as the Mississippi area. Thank you, brother, for coming on the show, and we will all see you next time, and you will hear us on the Headley Real Estate Show. Guys, take care.